Hey guys, Dan Greer, Eclipse DOT coming at you today. Beautiful Colorado. I found me a nice little shady spot in a tree. It's absolutely gorgeous out here in the fields. We got some alfalfa right here behind us. Just came out of the barley field not too long ago. It's been a great day out here. Today we're going to talk about communication. Communication is a key, especially as a leader. We've all worked for people who don't communicate, and we've all worked in businesses where there's no communication. And you know, one of the things that I've heard the most from a lot of people is that communication is probably the worst at every business, and everybody sucks at communicating. You know what that tells me? That person's no good at communicating, right? It doesn't mean the business is no good. It doesn't mean everybody else is no good. It means that they won't accept responsibility that they can't communicate. And so one of the things that I'm going to encourage you to do today as a leader is communicate. Communicate well. Communicate with your people. Communicate with those above you, those around you. Communicate with everybody. Don't just pick one way of communication and go with it. You have to come up with several different ways. A good example is take a salesman. A salesman communicates through email the majority of the time, right? And when he can't get somebody to respond back, he picks up a phone and he calls them. And when they won't respond to that, he'll shoot them a text. He doesn't give up. He finds a way to communicate. And I think that as leaders, we lose track of that. We stop communicating sometimes because it's too hard. We communicate type A and they communicate type B. A good example of that would be, and I'm going to throw my dad under the bus here, okay? I love him. He's a great guy, but he refuses to get a cell phone. I mean, he's older, but he refuses to get a cell phone, okay? He doesn't mind technology. He doesn't mind doing anything else, but he refuses to get a cell phone. He makes it to where we can only communicate one way with him, period. And that one way we can communicate with him is verbally. And that's fine, right? So many of us have so many ways of communicating today. Why do we only communicate with our employees one way? Why do we only communicate with the people on our team one way? Why do we only communicate with our manager one way? We need to have a two-way street. We need to open that street, and we need to be able to drive up and down it very easily. Communication is the key to success, and being able to communicate is big. What are some good examples of communication? All right, let's start with over communication. What's a good example of over communication? Hey Dan, I'm going to the bathroom. Hey Dan, I just started my truck. Hey Dan, I forgot. Right? That would be over communication. What's a good example of under communication? Running off to do something and never telling anybody what you're doing. Going and seeing the same client twice because you didn't communicate with each other. Potentially scaring away business because you didn't communicate right. Lack of communication would be not reaching out to somebody after they've asked you to, right? Not responding back to an email, not calling them when they have a question, not calling them when you can answer that stuff. That would be lack of communication. So what we want to do is encourage you today to communicate. Find out the way your people communicate. Ask them. Ask them. Go out and ask them. If they don't answer you, shoot them a text. If they don't answer that, call them. If they don't answer that, shoot them an email. But still communicate with them and tell people what's going on around you. That way you don't make the same mistakes. And here's the thing I'm going to say. If you're the one being communicated to, let's just say for an example that I tell you that I went and hit this customer yesterday and you go see him tomorrow, I'm going to be upset with you because you didn't listen. Listening is the biggest part of communication there is. And we could go off on another 10 minutes tangent on listening. That's why the good Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. We got more to hear than we do to say. And I'm going to leave you guys with that note. Is the best thing to communicating is listening. All right, have a good day.